scientists, directors, the vice chancellor, the other stakeholders, students from the private sector. Also, I see persons attending this important lecture by none other than our Deputy Director General Horticulture, Dr. Anand Kumar Singh, who is going to speak on a very important topic which concerns each one of us. And that is about containing the malnutrition through horticulture. As you know, horticulture is becoming very important nowadays because we have to have concerns in not only sustainable development goals for zero hunger, for nutritional other things, but also if you see the Global Nutritional Report 2020, there also there are a lot of concerns for nutrition for the country as a whole. So we thought we can have a lecture by none other than the person who is dealing with the complete horticulture of the country as the Deputy Director General Horticulture, and who has a very long experience. He has served in many organizations. He is an alumni of Banaras Hindu University. He is an alumni of Indian Agriculture Research Institute for doing his MSc and PhD. He has done postdoc also from Japan and California, USA. And he has served at many important positions. He was earlier in the Horticulture Board also before joining this post. He was head of the division in ICAR, and many other positions he has held in Tata Energy Research Institute, TERI, and so on. He has many awards to his credit. He is the fellow of many societies and academies. So I'll not take much time. I will just request Dr. A.K. Singh to take the floor. But before he takes the floor, let me just inform each one of you that this particular lecture series we have started as part of the 75th year celebrations of the 75th year of the India's independence, which we are going to have on the 15th August next year, 22. So to commemorate our independence, to commemorate our 75 years completion of our independence, we will have 75 lecture series, and every week we have the lectures. This is fourth in the series, and very eminent speakers we have till now. And in the times to come, yesterday itself, I have spoken to Baba Ramdev. I have spoken to the chairman of the Gangaram Hospital. I have spoken to many motivational lectures also. So it's not that only the subject-specific lectures will be there. There will be some lectures related to the entrepreneurship development, success stories by some Padma Shri awardees, some Nobel laureates, and like that. So I will request that spare 1 hour every week to listen to all these lectures, very important lectures. And due to COVID, we are not able to have physical lectures. So we are going for only these virtual lectures. But the virtual lectures are also equally effective. So I request each one of you to kindly be connected with this. And with that, now I request the Honorable Deputy Director General Horticulture, Dr. Anand Kumar Singh ji, to take the floor and to deliver the talk. Over to you, Dr. A.K. Singh, sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Agrawal-ji. I'll share my slides. Are you able to see?
Yes.
Thank you so much. This afternoon, I think I can see here 138 eminent workers, stakeholders, administrators, academic administrators, and opinion leaders are joined with us when we are going to share our subject matter divisions, concern how the horticulture can play a pivotal role in containing the malnutrition in India. This is so important today because we are producing the food grain commodities and horticulture commodities in many of the commodities in quantities more than what we need for our own consumption. Still, there is a rampant malnutrition how these two things can coexist. That appears that something is there in the process which needs the correction, which needs the effective way of communicating with the stakeholders so that this malnutrition can be contained, be it kids or women or elderly population also. So here I will be trying how the horticulture, which includes fruits, vegetables, ornamentals, floriculture crops also, and many seed spices and spices, how they can contribute in this whole process of containing the malnutrition. Of course, I will not be including the floriculture, but rest of the segments of horticulture I'll be covering very briefly because I've been given 40 minutes time. So my idea is to, as Dr. Agrawal has already mentioned, that the Global Nutrition Report has already come, which presents, based on the data probably given by the government of India, where the malnutrition status in India is really very bad. And despite so many good things are happening, still there is no shortage of the food grains or horticultural commodities. Still, this is rampant. And if you consider particularly, I will not touch each and every age segment in India where this is rampant. But most important for me is the women and the kids. Kids, roughly half of the population less than 5 years of age, they are suffering from the malnutrition, which leads to the stunted growth, thinking ability is not there, cranium development is not there. Likewise, many things are happening which should not happen if they were properly nourished. The time has come that we have to move beyond the food security. In India, as you know, the India identifies food security with the grain security, which I think that there is a fundamental change has to come into the mind. Those who are going to make policy to combat these things, which must have to happen. So we have to move beyond the food security to achieve the nutritional security. So there is a precarious dependent on three major staple food crops: wheat, maize, rice, which are currently supplying more than 50% of human calorie currently in India. If you compare the other countries' data, which are, I would say, they are the developed countries and several developing countries also, the energy requirement from the cereal is much less than this value. Therefore, there is a need to cut down this percentage, and share should go to the horticultural crops, which are much bigger potential capabilities to contain this malnutrition. And here the horticulture provides a better balance of the carbohydrate, protein, minerals, and micronutrients, and other elements also, which is needed along with the cereals or the carbohydrate. See, there is the production, if you see, there is a massive gain in the production. And Dr. Swaminathan says that the right to food means right to food. Right food. Therefore, there has to be a balance between the cereals as well as in horticultural crops. When we talk of the balanced diet in India, there is a recommendation of the Indian food, ICMR, that a person must be consuming something like 500 inclusive of the fruits and vegetables. I'll be covering the little later also. Every day basis, which doesn't happen. Of course, there are many factors. The buying capacity is one of them. Supply chain system, connection between the connection between the production centers and the consumption centers. And probably this problem is going to be much more serious when our population is going to rise. And by the time of 2050, roughly 52% population or more than that, they'll be living in the big cities. And unless these things are supply chain system improves for every day's commodity, so that the fresh commodity reaches from production centers to the consumption centers, this will continue to be a problem. That is one supply chain related issue. The other thing is that the buying capacity of the average individuals, if you consider the daily wage earners, if their number is that I think more than 350 million population in India, if their earning is 300 rupees or 350 rupees, or let us say in some states that there is in states like Kerala, Jammu and Kashmir, it's very high, more than 500, or in Kerala 1,000 rupees. If there are three members and if they want to buy the adequate amount of the recommended dose or recommended amount of quantities of the protein, carbohydrate. So what are the sources? Let us look into this one. For protein, they have to go for if he's a vegetarian, dal is 100 rupees kg. Meat is 600 rupees a kg. Egg, today's rate of the egg in India is 80 rupees a dozen. Milk, 50 rupees. See, the cost of these commodities are very high, that therefore the buying capacity, in addition to this availability, is one factor. In addition to these two factors, because of the time is limited, I will not be going into this one. This process needs really how to enable the accessibility by raising the buying capacity of the average Indian so that they have access to these things. Production is not in short form. If you look here, what we eat every day, there is a recommendation that 200 grams of the fruits, 300 grams of vegetables. Of course, this has been factorized how much it has to come from the leafy vegetables, how much it should come, the protein should come from the milk, or various contributors for a perfect diet system. This slide I have borrowed from the ICMR's one of the documents they made presentation somewhere, just for the sake of information to you. If you consider the vegetables, they are the powerhouse of the nutrition. We are trying to enrich the various cereal commodities so that the amount of functional elements like iron, zinc, or other elements also is going to be through biofortification, the real level goes up. But in case of vegetable crops, each and every vegetable has a plethora of the functional elements, nutritive elements, where the glycemic index is less. The vitamins, you talk of A, B, C, E, and K, everything is there, packed naturally. You don't have to increase the level of any of the elements. So therefore, there is a need to create awareness among the people, because this is much more important today. And if it needs a policy support, if there is a need to even fund also, provide any subsidy or any financial assistance so that awareness is created that you have to consume more and more vegetables, fruits, and nutritive values. I think that will be very pertinent to do it, because the cost of the poor health to the national GDP is very heavy. If you look into the publication which has been jointly published by the Ernst of United States of India and the ICMR, they say that the diet system is one of the very critical factor which can contribute significantly in containing the malnutrition of India. Therefore, it needs a policy push. Why? Because it is not there at the moment. Number two, if you look into the number of the people who are obese, particularly those very affluent class, those who have very high buying capacity, the number of people in India, those who are obese and number of the malnourished population is almost equal. So this is what I want to emphasize, that there is a need to create the awareness among those who have the accessibility through buying capacity or increased buying capacity, or the sections where this is not there. However, the poor people, those who cannot afford, for them, there is option I will be presenting in the following slides. Vegetables, I have here taken these, what are the sources, which kind of vitamin is there, and what are the established or the proposed effects on human wellness. I don't have to explain, you are all educated and you are opinion leaders of your domain, and of course, these are the basic things, you know. I thought maybe some students would be there, therefore I have added these slides, but they have the copious quantities of vitamins A, K, E, and folate, any other elements, vitamins in the vegetable crops. Calcium is calcium and vitamin D is the rampant deficiency in women and kids. Therefore, this needs the appraisal and how this particular element has to be promoted through dietary enrichment. This is a bioequivalence and the bioavailability. This is much more important here. There may be some commodities where the existing or fortified level is very high, but when it comes to the question of how much of this portion is available biologically to the human or mammals, then there is a question in some commodities. However, in case of vegetable crops or fruit crops, where these elements are there in quantities which body needs, that is sufficient actually, the availability is very high, whether you talk of the fruits or vegetables or some of the spices or leafy vegetables or any kind of fruits and vegetables. These commodities are easily available. Then the requirement is that they should be consumed in a proper proportion. There has to be a diversified plate consumed. Therefore, awareness on this one is extremely important and crucial if you want to contain it. Today we are talking, we focused greatly on the food security, and now we are talking of the nutritional security. And now we are giving much more focus in horticulture, how the phytochemicals can be given importance in the whole process of research and development, and develop the protocol so that these phytochemicals can be identified, crystallized, characterized, and they can be encapsulated so that this is available to the consumers, those who have the differential level of the buying capacity. This is important from 2 points actually. We have to attend the call of the Prime Minister that by in the next 1 year, little more than 1 year, we have to double the income of the farmers. Therefore, this component is going to add value to the farmers, our farming community, our stakeholders, investors. Secondly, by the 2025 and 26, we have to, Honorable Prime Minister has given a call that agri-export must be doubled from currently $30 or $39 billion to at least $75 or $100 billion. So if we have to look into this one, then there are many green shoots available in horticulture sector, be it spices or floriculture or fruits, and many of them are useful for the phytochemicals. Some of them could be directly consumed as a dietary elements, or some of them that can be used as additives or coloring agents. Therefore, the phytochemicals are going to be a very attractive proposition in case of horticultural investment. Health benefits, for example, I have taken just one, the free radicals, how these free radicals are related with the heart diseases, or coronary diseases, cancers, Parkinson's, arthritis, contracts, muscular dystrophy. So these things, we often go to hospital, and when we talk with the doctor, then he or she recommends this kind of dietary system. There has to be a change so that the fiber content has to be increased, and to ensure the availability of these elements for better health. So vegetables and fruits, they stand a very good chance here, and there needs a policy push. Now the epidemiology in terms of roles of fruits and vegetables. See the dotted lines, which is going up, which is touching almost 160, and the left side, if you see the per capita fruit and vegetable availability grams per day. So the countries which are encircled, there the consumption of fruits and vegetables is very high, whereas the death rate is very low, because the consumption, the consumption pattern of the graph is very high, is going 160, and the death rate is between 20 to 40. So this is a publication, international publication, which I've taken, and it was a very big paper published in a very highly rated journal, and it was republished hardly 2 or 3 years back. So there's a inversal relationship that if you consume more fruits and vegetables, then you can postpone the illness, you can postpone the death also in certain, in human population. Here, this is the study which was conducted in Japan in nutrition, how the dietary fiber intake and the depressive symptoms in Japanese employees happens. So it says that the dietary fiber intake from the vegetables and fruits was significantly inversely associated with the depressive symptoms. And this has become a part of the Japanese government's policy. And copying this thing, the Singapore has also copied this policy to promote this one, although the vegetable and fruits consumption in Singapore was already very high. What could be the major action points for this? As I said, that those who have buying capacity, they need the awareness. They need to be told that you have to increase the quantum of fruits and vegetables on a daily basis. Those who do not have, in fact, in many of the travel areas are, desolately located areas, traditionally they have been consuming more and more amount of the indigenous vegetables. However, the other part of the dietary components, they don't afford. Therefore, this problem continues to be there. However, there are plenty of data is available at hand that indigenous vegetables, there are more than 2 dozens at least in vegetables, several in case of fruit crops. They are available. They are of the nature of India's climatic conditions, or conditions in which we operate agriculture, horticulture. Tropical nature, subtropical natures, temperate natures are in between. Some species also find the climatic conditions where it can be grown. We have the copious number of these indigenous fruits, vegetables, and spices crops. They need to be promoted so that they constitute the mainstream production system of vegetables or fruits in India. so that the availability rises, and this will lead to the accessibility. And one of these primary stakeholders, those who would be cultivating these crops on a commercial scale, they will be contributing on earning so much and raising their buying capacity so that they will be able to afford the dietary part, which they are currently not able to. Indigenous legume, if we look into India, India is one of the richest countries for the indigenous legumes. Plenty of there. Many of them, they have already become the part of the dietary system, either in the fresh format or in a value-added formats, either as vegetables or pulses or salad. And wherever, in whichever communities, for example, northeastern states are the fantastic example. In those communities, the consumption of these vegetables are very high. As a result, malnutrition there is not there. Of course, it's there because it's not there because of the other factors also, but this factor is very, very, very significant and very, very important. This has been documented as well. Beans, for example, this has never attained the mainstream production in India. We have such a fantastic, several dozens of the beans are available in India. But when you talk of the availability in large quantities, either for quenching the need of the market in a fresh format, or when it is needed for value addition or processing, or making the pickles, or making the dehydrated format of this one, either for our own consumption or for exotic destinations, it's not there. This needs a push. How the value-added product from these commodities can be done, how the research elements can come in here. There are some beans where some harmful compounds are there, but there are protocols available. They can be separated from the products. But it serves as a fantastic source of each and every mineral elements that we need, including the vitamins. Indigenous leafy vegetables. So we are really rich to have such a large or vast, either herbaceous plant or herbal plants, which we say, or the many leafy vegetables. They come in the sabji category mein aate hain. They need to be promoted. The area has to be identified. How the leafy vegetables are succulent in nature, therefore the supply system for leafy vegetables has to be independent and separate from other vegetables, because they have a tendency to dry very quickly unless it reaches from production centers to the consumption centers in a specialized containers where the temperature, humidity is monitored or calibrated properly. The availability remains a question. Therefore, here also it needs a financial push to develop the logistics and the matching logistics or infrastructure so that the supply chain system works here. I was told by some expert in coriander that the amount of iron in 10 grams of coriander or cilantro is that matches with the 5-6 kilograms of the several grains. Likewise, there are many vegetables which needs a push, and I think through subject matter division and through respective vegetable research institutions, we are giving it a push. However, we have some limitations, and I think through research we'll be able to promote, develop newer materials, identify the beneficial aspects of these things, so that, and also ensuring the adequate quantities of the seed material, so that it is available to those who want to go into this one, either for consumption or for value addition or for any other purposes. So I think in days to come, in years to come, we'll be able to have technology plus the sufficient quantities of seed by the institutions, and also in a partnership mode with the other stakeholders, which will be available to the farmers for large scale cultivation, so that we can do the mainstreaming. And here the multi-pronged strategy also constitute how the fruits as well as vegetables should be combined. We have been eating guava for so many years for delectable tastes and the flavors. But we have these days the varieties where the quantities of vitamins have been raised. The agronomic practices have been developed. Many other varieties have been developed from the selection process. We have developed the pomegranate varieties, mango varieties, so many varieties which has come with the matching production technologies, and we are going to promote on a scale which never happened in the last few years. For example, in potato also, one research paper has come from the International Potato Center that they have developed the enriched potato for iron and zinc they are working. And they say that they have published internationally that the bioavailability of the zinc and iron in potato is much superior than any other commodities wherever such attempts have been made. Similarly, we developed a Bhu Krishna variety of the sweet potato, which has become really elite class vegetable. The area is rising, the demand is rising, and those farmers, in fact, you know, the Honorable Pradhan Mantri ji ने अपने मन की बात में हमारी एक वैरायटी के बारे में भी बताया था कि उत्तर प्रदेश के किसान बाकी जो परंपरागत खेती करते हैं दूसरे फसलों की, they stopped doing that and they have adopted sweet potato where the income has risen. We are talking of doubling the farmers' income 10 times in Eastern UP. This was one of the examples Honorable Prime Minister mentioned in his Man Ki Baat, in addition to jackfruit and those commodities. Likewise, in the lower pictures are the jamun and avla and jackfruit. And we identified one jackfruit varieties in the South India, in the peninsular India. That is unique. It was done by ICAR Bangalore, which is very rich in nutrition. And the complete profile was prepared and farmer was told that this is a unique material, this is a farmer's variety. You need to multiply in bulk. That we started almost 3 years or 3.5 years back. And now, every year he is earning more than 13 lakhs from a single tree by sale of the planting material of one clonal material. Would you believe? But this is happening in ICAR. This is such a fantastic efforts delivered at the farmers' field by the IHR that this has created, this has really defined a new business model for the farmers. And the demand for this kind of material is coming from all over the country because this is so rich in terms of the nutritive values. In addition to this one golden milk to your left-hand side, this has been done by the Indian Institute of Spices, Calicut, where they have, like in North India, we have Mother Dairy. They have similar to that in South India also. And the turmeric powder, you know, this is consumed, we mix it in the milk, but only small amount is available to us. Whereas in this process, they have developed a new technology, sonication, where the availability of the nutritive value of the turmeric is very high. And the technology has been transferred and the sale is, every day they say the sale is several hundred thousand cans. Likewise, the IHR has developed the halasuras, and the Pomegranate Institute has developed this probiotic juices where they have also licensed and they are earning good amount of money and the demand is rising. I hope this is going to play a big role in containing the malnutrition. So the antioxidant and the nutritional potential of some of the underutilized vegetables I have already mentioned, but this is a particular reference to the state Jharkhand. So we have collected the data and these are at least some of them, and these are the only, they are only 12 leafy vegetables. They are doing the cultivation where the area has expanded and they have formed this group of the farmers in addition to the fresh supply to the local market, and they say that the demand is coming from the Delhi market also, from Bombay market also. Although at the moment it's very small, but I think in days to come or years to come, this is going to rise only. So the fresh format, and also they are doing the dehydrated format of this one, so that this is made available in the off season. And they are earning huge amount of profit out of this, certainly more than what they used to get after cultivation of the traditional vegetables or traditional cereals or pulses. So they are playing a big role, and this has created more and more awareness in the local cities, in the local villages also. And therefore, I think if systematic data is collected on these crops with the communities wherever consumption and production is happening, probably this will give us a very interesting results in terms of adoption or acceptance of these vegetables, which was never there earlier in our dietary system. Now the Miracle Moringa. I mean, please believe me that I got a phone call from a doctor in London. He says that we need some tablets of the Moringa. Here in London, his wife was suffering from cancer and she has been recommended to take the Moringa tablets. And now I know for sure that at least 3 companies I know, they are making the tablets of the Moringa leaves and they are exporting. See, if you look into this one, this has 7 times vitamin C of oranges. 4 times. हम कहते हैं कि नींबू खाइए विटामिन सी का स्रोत है, बहुत बड़ा प्रचुर मात्रा में पाया जाता है. लेकिन मोरिंगा is here, which can be cultivated even in some marginal lands also. It doesn't require very meticulous care in the cultivation. So it contains 7 times more vitamin than the oranges, 4 times more vitamin C than the carrots, 4 times calcium of the milk. And you know, there are some papers which say that milk, of course I will not go into this one, 4 times of the calcium as compared to milk, 3 times potassium than banana, 2 times protein of the yogurt. And more than that, I know 1 or 2 people, 1 or 2 persons, those who are making the waste material of the moringa trees and shoots, and they are mixing with the milk breeds of fodder. And they have reported that the milk production has increased. So this is already going to come into our in the food chain. So the effect of this one will be beneficial, and I think this needs a massive promotion, science-based promotion, and financial assistance-based promotion, so that this crop comes up and assumes its significance. Sprouts, many you might have heard in the everyday's newspaper, or particularly on Sunday, that there are many companies which have started selling the sprouts and microgreens. These are nothing, those who, I know many of you would be knowing it, but for those who may not be knowing it, that these are the seeds which are grown and early stages they are harvested, and this is sold out at very, very high prices. And this could be done anywhere in the cities also. This could be done even at your home also. This can be done in the fridge also. It doesn't need to be grown in the big land pieces. However, the amount of nutritive compounds this supplies to your diet is miraculous. Effect is miraculous. Therefore, there is a need to promote such things, and it needs multiple hands from the government, either national or local government, or the research institutions, KVKs, and agricultural universities. Only then these things can come up, and more matching technologies is available at hand for those type of stakeholders, those who do not know about it. The multiple, this is again the part of the multi-pronged strategy to tackle the malnutrition. In case of potato, I said, tomato also, it has come for many other elements. This is the holistic slide of each set of the crops except the fruits, where this thing is needed for promotion. While I'm saying that these things are essential, needs a push from research, from promotion, from development of logistics and infrastructure. At the same time, there is a big push Government of India is giving, at least this government is giving, for production and value addition along with the safe vegetables production. We are promoting the good agriculture or horticulture practices, because today's the problem. Many times our consignments, those which are destined for the exotic destinations, they are turned down because of contaminants, toxins, residues, artificial or physical adulterants. So therefore, we have to make aware our farmers that what are the good agriculture, horticulture practices you must adopt if you want to earn more. At least if you want to become part of the export business of the fruits and vegetables that you are cultivating in India. Therefore, the process that you deploy in the field has to be safe from 2 points: safety of the commodity that you want to sell out, or within India also, or the safety of the environment also. So therefore, we have to promote how the safe level of pesticide and residue analysis, what is this? This has to be promoted. Farmers do not know. Because today, India, the farmers practice only the prescriptive format of agriculture. They need little more value addition in that, so that they know what is pesticide, what kind of right pesticide, what are the right sources, where they can go for redressal in case of any spurious supply of the compounds. Why this is important to you for environment, for yourself, for export. and how this is directly linked with the business. Microbial contamination, again, in United States, couple of years back, the entire cabbage was destroyed because some microbial contamination was there. Quantification of the heavy metal in the commodities, chemical analysis of additives. These things are the 4 critical components are there which needs a redressal, proper knowledge, proper dissemination of the knowledge about these things in the minds of the propagators or the farmers, those who are going to do it or do the value addition. They need to be educated, not just informed. Thankfully, today is much more possible in a robust way. We have a transparent system of the ICT tools, which we can deploy for effective dissemination of these informations and knowledge. But farmers have to trust based on our persuasion and knowledge-based discussion and persuasion with them. As a policy, vegetables gardening can be a part of the secondary education. Why not? This is just for pondering. With this, I complete my talk. I think I have just taken the time allotted to me by Dr. Agrawal, and I must thank each one of you, particularly Dr. Agrawal, for giving me a chance to speak with such a learned stakeholders who are present, who are the vice chancellors also, and directors also, professionals also, to share my views. And I know this is not complete, but maybe given another chance, I think this next part of this sequel can be brought out by me or any of my colleagues. Thank you so much. Sabhi ko namaskar.
Thank you, Dr. Singh Sahab, for excellent talk, excellent coverage about how we can contain the malnutrition through the horticulture. And I think you have covered all the aspects, giving the world figures, how we are figuring how that the relationship you have shown through that graph was excellent. That those countries like the Scandinavian countries, how they are performing better by consuming more and more nutrients, more and more horticulture crops. And the vegetables, especially, you have told that vegetables are the storehouse for all these nutrients. So that we know, and especially the moringa, I think it's a wonderful crop, and we have to understand, not only for the human beings, but even for the cattle, as you have told. So there are a lot of points, I think, we can digest, we can take home the message. And now with this, I request if there are any questions, you can raise your hands. And in case you want to have some voice or through the chat box, both are allowed. So I request you to please ask your questions.
Dr. Agrawal, I have finished my time, but I would like to thank Dr. T.S. Aghora, who is a principal scientist in ICAR Bangalore. He has helped me a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
He has helped me a lot.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Aghora. Are you there?
Yes,
yeah, he's there. He's there.
You can unmute yourself by raising your hand so that I can give chance to each one of you, whoever is interested in asking the questions. Please.
Sir, thank you so much, sir. In fact, it is a very nice presentation by Honorable DDG, sir. It is very good compilation. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks for acknowledging. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Aghora.
Thank you.
So, any clarification or any addition? Any? We see a lot of directors sitting here who are dealing with many important crops. Like I see Dr. Jyotsna from pomegranate. I see a lot of persons from ICAR. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes, Jyotsna, please.
So first of all, I would like to thank our Honorable DDG for a very informative talk. And if allowed, I would like to add something from pomegranate, though many people know, but still there are certain things which we do not know. And because we have a lot of all learned people over here. So regarding pomegranate oil, I would like to tell that from the seeds we get pomegranate oil, and that is very good. And it has been proved anti-cancerous, specifically for prostate cancer. It is already proved long back. And also it is very good for reducing the cholesterol level in the human beings. So that is very good for heart problem also. And apart from that, like recently, around 2-3 days back only, I got a phone call from one of the persons who has used pomegranate juice continuously for around, you can say around 1.5 or 2 months. And she informed me that she was suffering from this respiratory problems and congestion, which she had shown to many doctors, but she could not overcome that. But by regularly taking the juice, she has been, now she says she's almost cured with that, and she's not facing that problem. And recently, during the Corona times also, one of the doctors from Odisha, he has informed that the rind of pomegranate, specifically the white membrane inside, and the wild varieties have more of it, but all the varieties have that alligatannins and allergic acid, which is antiviral. So he has cured 2 corona patients with the rind capsules, which are on sale in Odisha. So these are some of the points I would like to add for the information of the all the learned speakers.
Thank you, Dr. Josna. When I say you can raise your hands, I am asking electronic hands, because physical hands I cannot see. Yes, Dr. Sandhu Saab. There is a button. If you click on the participants, you will see electronic hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
Dr. We are learning. Thank you very much, Dr. Agarwal, having this very good series. And we are all getting a very first-hand information, getting rich information from the various eminent speaker. Even today, Dr. A.K. Singh has give a very comprehensive view of the how the horticulture crops are contributing for nutritional security and particularly that. But my question is, Dr. Singh, you all know that in the last 7 years, horticulture production was less than the food grain crop. And from that, and now it is almost 60 or 70 million ton is more added from taking 2013-14. But how much looks into the benefit of our, that is the slide you have shown that malnourished children and other things, how that effect is reflecting on that? Is we are just producing more? So my question is that much.
Well, this question is applicable to each and every set of crops, but more so to the cereals than horticulture, number one. So when you say that, that whether this is reflected in terms of population, I don't think there is a large number of the studies which has a wider coverage of the crop. A study has been taken up. No. Same thing is true for the other segment of the crop. Horticulture is not in isolation. However, for sure that many horticultural commodities, particularly vegetables and fruits in societies, wherever the consumption is more, their expenditure towards the health on account of the illness and life expectancy is higher. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. So anybody else?
I think my question is related. Is how much the malnutrition children was in 2013 and how was in 2021? Is it reflecting on that as a whole, more production, or is it depend family to family?
Oh, no, because see, we have swelled in numbers. We have swelled in numbers, and those communities, I said specifically, I underlined, where the consumption of fruits and vegetables is high, the mortality rate has been postponed. They are less sick than who are consuming cereals on a continuous basis. However, this has happened, I mean, this needs a much more elaborate discussion.
So thank you, sir, for your this explanation. Anybody else? otherwise, we can just thank Dr. A.K. Singh Saab for his excellent talk. So, last question by anybody? Okay. So, may I request Dr. Venkateswarlu to please propose a vote of thanks.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure and honor to express sincere thanks to Dr. A.K. Singh. Sir, really, you made your talk very delightful and enchanting with lots of information. I'm able to see in chat box also, many participants expressed the talk is loaded with a lot of information. Sir, thank you for making and bringing information to all of us, and particularly you sensitized and also you informed us we need to think beyond food security, that is nutritional security. Certainly, and having a huge potential in our country, and particularly you highlighted some action points and with respect to creation of awareness and also promoting our indigenous fruits and vegetables, whether it is any leafy vegetable or anything. That's more important for us. The purpose of this lecture series, everybody knows we need to sensitize, and it helps us to lay our roadmap and also bring some way forward to all of us. So with that, I think you made this purpose is really fulfilled, and the potential is so much, sir. As we organizing this 75 lecture series, based on your talk, I am able to see not agriculture, even we can have 75 lectures in horticulture nutrition itself. So that is the depth of the subject, and I'm really thankful, and particularly we are thankful to the participation, and I'm able to see, I think, entire ICAR, particularly Horticulture Institute, from Shimla to Banana Institute and Andaman, I think everything I am seeing. And I'm really, sir, personally, I'm so happy to see many friends from horticulture. Virtually, I got a chance to say hello to them. And particularly, you mentioned Dr. Aghora, and several my friends are from Bangalore. And really, I'm able to feel, I'm sitting not in Delhi, I'm sitting in Bangalore. So this is really a great platform. And with this, once again, I thank you, sir. And special thanks to our Dr. Agarwal, taking pains and also interest to bring the speaker and also making this particular platform to reach everyone. And we are hoping many more such lectures. This is the fourth one only in the series, and is a great journey for all of us. And thank you, sir. Thank you to our DDG Education, and thanks to all the participants for your active participation.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you everyone. Thanks, Dr. Agarwal.
See you again next week.
Yeah.
Thank you.